IDS-410. Welcome to Module 4. Oh my God, the false starts I have. Voice cracking and, well, that's what happens. Anyways, welcome to Module 4, the Lit Review. Yay, let me hear it. Okay, so here's what I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about what a Lit Review is. It is, and I put this in the announcement that says from Wikipedia. I use that as a source because it was simple for this definition. You can't use it for a source in papers though, okay? But it's a critical summary and synthesis of existing research on a specific topic, which can be a standalone paper or part of a larger work like a thesis. It involves summarizing scholarly sources. Those are the two words I want you to remember from this week, scholarly sources. I bolded it everywhere I've used it, okay? Here at Southern New Hampshire University, you get a light version of it, okay? Because we're not in here as post-grad researchers, things like that. So when it comes to research, there's different levels of it, right? When you're researching in high school and middle school, it's not really research as much as it is self-enlightenment. You're learning something. Like I said one time, if your teacher says research paper on the Titanic, you don't go and rent a submarine and go down to North Pacific and discover artifacts and different other things. No, you basically look at existing data, you put it together. This is your research paper. It means you learned something. Okay, then we get into real life and we research trips and we research new cars, and that's quite fine for that way. Once we get into university and beyond, research is something entirely different. It is adding knowledge to a field, okay? It's all additional, all right? Research is not about self-enlightenment. It's not even about, doing what you're interested in, because we assume you're going to do what you're interested in. All researchers do, right? Nobody's forced into certain research. But it is like adding a teaspoon of water, a cup of water, whatever, into the ocean of knowledge in that field, okay? You're adding. It's always additive. So research can be done two ways, basically. This is all basic. One way is to develop, design, discover something entirely new. It hasn't been done before through research, testing, and methodology. And then the other way would be take existing data and discover something new from that data, okay? That's two different ways to do it. In our class, we're looking at problem solving for social change. And in module 2 and I guess 3, I've really emphasized the second word, solving, problem solving. If you've got my feedback showing that your proposals at least did not give me a clear enough picture of what you might do, or conversely, you talked about national or global type of problems that, or multiple issues, you're getting in way over your head. I want you to bring it way down. This is why it's good to see discussion board posts on some students who are looking at a local level and have that idea. So for those I haven't spoke to yet, those that, are just cruising along and maybe not checking your feedback, you're missing out, okay? Because we're not problem analyzing, we're not problem examining, we're problem solving, okay? And how do you solve a problem? I'm not going to make you solve climate change, sustainability. I'm not making you solve homelessness, income inequality. You can't solve those, right? Let's be real, all right? I can't solve it, you can't solve it. Some of this, as I've said to you, some of you, it's in our cultural DNA. And it's going to take a lot more than an undergrad class of about 5 weeks to solve it, right? So then all we end up getting is generic, idealistic, cliched solutions that can't be implemented. Excuse me. It ends up we're right back on the couch watching TV and going, somebody ought to do something about that. That's what we're doing in our papers then. I don't want us to do that. Okay, so let's get back to the scholarly sources. How do you find them? All right, this is where there's confusion by Southern New Hampshire, and I've tried to get it cleared up multiple occasions. They keep agreeing with me that it's wrong. They don't change it, okay? So first of all, in the instructions for this paper, the instructions to the Lit Review says, it's called previous attempts, okay, and strategies. I guess it's 50 points. Good Lord, that's too small. But instructions, it says to submit a short paper in which you research what others have done to address the opportunity for social change that you identified in Module 3. Okay, so it says that remember that you will need at least 4 sources that represent diverse perspectives to support your project in this course. I don't want you confused. Yes, you need at least 4 sources that represent diverse perspectives to support your project in this course. All right, so there's a clear checklist of what to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Now, when it says do, then it says number 7 is where the confusion comes in. Do some preliminary research to support your paper, then provide at least 1 source that you could use in your project. This is where people get confused. You do, don't worry about separating that. If you do your 4 sources, diverse sources, you don't need number 7 on 1 source. It's so confusing. 4 sources, like the instructions say, okay? So how do you find those? This is the important part, okay? Scholarly sources. This means no .coms, no .orgs, no .blogspot, no pedias, no newspapers, all right? No government handout, government stats. You are looking for scholarly sources. To do that, it's simple. You go to the Shapiro Library. I tried to do a screen recording earlier. It's just a disaster. You go to the Shapiro Library. See, Shapiro Library search bar. Notice I have filtered full text online and peer-reviewed scholarly. Those two filters. Okay, you filter for those 2. You type your search criteria in here. All right, and you will come up with scholarly, peer-reviewed sources that are available online. Okay. Please do this. For those of you that don't, you're going to get dinged, okay? I'm sorry, but it's really clear. It's scholarly sources. I'm including a little, some more information about Lit Review in the announcement, but that's how you find these things. And then you look at the source. So for your workflow, you would do this. Then what you do, you find your ones, the sources that you like. Hit save. That makes the flag. See, it makes the flag, it's really hard to do this upside down, so I'm not going to try too hard. I guess it's over here. Boom, like that. It saves it, right? You can decide then how to grab your saved sources. You could have them emailed to you and such. Notice that you need to cite them appropriately in APA. You need to reference list appropriately in APA, okay? You got this. Quotes from these scholarly sources should not exceed 29 words. 30 and over is called a long quote. Needs to be blocked differently. Just all quotes should be under 29 words. All right, that's just the way it is in research papers. It's important because what this tells you in a sequence of research is, you'd introduce your thesis. You would go into your lit review and showing different sources and what came before you. All right, these sources here, they say support your thesis. They could challenge your thesis, they could support it, confirm it, what have you. Then normally in research you go into methodology. Is it going to be quantitative, qualitative? What's the methodology? And then you get into different things. Research papers are long, extensive things. So we're doing it kind of light. You're getting a taste of these things, helps you become a better critical thinker, how to find sources that are accurate, peer-reviewed scholarly sources. So somebody does a research paper, they can't just print it and send it out. They could, but everybody's going to laugh at it in that field. And this is what we don't want to fall for. This is called, lousy research, and you might see it, all right? Peer-reviewed research is that goes through and has a diverse panel. Each journal, academic journal, has a diverse panel of experts in that field. They will review X amount of papers every year, and then the ones that pass muster get published. And when you have published research, that's when it's gold. That's the standard we're looking for, okay? So we're not looking for an article in the paper. I'll make you a deal. If you can do 4 diverse sources that are scholarly, you can do as many other sources as you want. That's my deal, if you heard that, okay? I'm looking forward to this. A lot of you are just really doing a great job. You really got it figured out. I want to note that even though This might be confusing the way I'm doing it. I try not to be, of course. SNHU sets up the curriculum. I get to teach it in a way that I find fits in with that curriculum. And the way I teach it then is problem solving for social change, not problem analysis, not problem examination, but problem solving. To solve those problems, we got to get away from trying to solve these big, huge things that are ridiculous, solving wars, solving, famine and pestilence. We're not going to do that. Don't take that on. Start at an area that you can work with. Start by how do you solve or mitigate, let's even say mitigate low literacy levels in an area, okay? Or adding literacy or offering cultural improvement. What can you do? You could do like I said, some people have done these little mini libraries on the corner, and how to put that together and have books and everything. Small steps. Any of you see Contact, the movie? Small Steps, Ellie, Small Steps. Anyways, get a hold of me if you want to talk. I take a lot of phone calls from students. I really enjoy it. Hope you do too. I hope it keeps straightened out, get you rolling. We're heading here on after 11 minutes, but I think that's it. Good luck, okay? I'm going to listen to the Packers against the Giants, and I think they're losing, so that's why I said let's do this announcement, all right? I'll see you later. Have a good week. Peace.